is charging us 100 or 200% tariff or tax, then we will charge them 100 or 200%.
Donald, they point out that even though you're a very smart guy, this is a very dumb thing to do.
The world is bracing for a trade war. Donald Trump drew first blood. He slapped tariffs on three major players: Canada, Mexico, and China. A hefty 25% for America's neighbors, Canada and Mexico, and 20% for China. It takes the average tariff from 2.4% to 10.5%. Look at the jump, 2.4 to 10.5. That's the highest level since the 1940s. So Trump's message is clear. He believes that these nations are exploiting the United States, and he's trying to fix it with sweeping tariffs.
The countries have used tariffs against us for decades, and now it's our turn to start using them against those other countries. On average, the European Union, China, Brazil, India, Mexico, and Canada, have you heard of them? And countless other nations charge us tremendously higher tariffs than we charge them.
The retaliation was swift. First up was Canada. They're imposing a 25% reciprocal tariff on American goods. We're talking about goods worth $107 billion. And this tariff will be imposed in two phases. In the first phase, goods worth $20 billion will face tariffs, and in the next 21 days, the rest will follow. Canada is also filing a case at the WTO, that is the World Trade Organization. Ottawa is calling this an attack on its economy.
The United States launched a trade war against Canada, their closest partner and ally, their closest friend. At the same time, they're talking about working positively with Russia, appeasing Vladimir Putin, a lying, murderous dictator. Make that make sense. Canadians are reasonable, and we are polite, but we will not back down from a fight. Not when our country and the well-being of everyone in it is at stake.
His tone has clearly changed. He's not holding back anymore. Justin Trudeau also shot a message for Trump.
Now, it's not in my habit to agree with the Wall Street Journal, but Donald, they point out that even though you're a very smart guy, this is a very dumb thing to do. We two friends fighting is exactly what our opponents around the world want to see.
Trudeau seems to have dropped the formalities. He's gone from Mr. President to Donald. Guess he's finally found his voice, and it does make sense because he has nothing to lose. Justin Trudeau has already resigned as Prime Minister. He's just waiting for his party to find a replacement, so he can afford to say what he's saying. Although Canada is not unique in expressing such outrage, the Mexicans are fuming. 83% of Mexico's exports go to the United States. 26% of Mexico's GDP depends on these exports. So Mexico, too, will impose retaliatory tariffs. But the details are not out yet. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum will reveal them on Sunday.
There is no motive, reason, or justification for this decision that will affect our people and nation. We have said it in different ways: cooperation and coordination, yes. Subordination, interventionism, no. Mexico is to be respected.
Subordinación.
Which brings us to China. On February 4th, Donald Trump imposed a 10% tariff on Chinese goods, and China responded with its own set of tariffs, 10 to 15% tax on U.S. agricultural products. That is what they imposed. Now, Trump has doubled those initial tariffs. There's a 20% levy on Chinese goods coming into the U.S. now, 20%. So Beijing is responding in kind. it is imposing a series of tariffs, up to 15% on agricultural goods, the likes of chicken, wheat, corn, and cotton, 10% on things like pork and sorghum. China has added 10 US firms to the unreliable entity list and 15 firms, 15 American companies, to the export control list. Beijing, too, has taken Washington to the WTO.
If the United States really wants to solve the fentanyl issue, it should hold negotiations with China on the basis of equality, respect, and reciprocity to resolve our respective concerns. If the United States has ulterior motives and persists in waging a tariff war, a trade war, or any other kind of war, the Chinese side will fight them to the bitter end.
It's a strong warning from China. It is ready for a trade war, or any war for that matter. What does this mean for the world? Simply put, tariffs are taxes on imported goods. And guess who pays these taxes? It is not the exporting countries. It is the importers who pay this extra money. So higher tariffs mean higher costs. And that means consumers pay more. The US has historically charged lower tariffs compared to other countries, but Donald Trump thinks that is unfair. He wants reciprocal tariffs, a tit-for-tat system. If a country taxes American goods, Washington will tax theirs.
On April 2nd, I wanted to make it April 1st, but I didn't want to be accused of April Fool's Day. That's not, just one day cost us a lot of money. But we're going to do it in April. I'm a very superstitious person. April 2nd, reciprocal tariffs kick in. And whatever they tariff us, other countries, we will tariff them. That's reciprocal, back and forth. Whatever they tax us, we will tax them.
But while Trump is busy pushing for more tariffs, his Commerce Secretary is saying something else. It is a man called Howard Lutnick. He says Trump may soon announce a deal to reduce the tariffs on Mexico and Canada. The White House has not commented on this so far. There is no official confirmation of this backtracking. And at this rate, it is hard to make sense of American policy. But they're clearly raising the stakes with no obvious gain. The idea is to get foreign companies to make in America and to support local players, but that will happen in the long run and only if other countries and companies play ball. In the short term, the American consumer will suffer, their expenses will go up, so Trump may have overplayed his hand. He sees this as a test of economic might. He believes that the US can outlast its trading partners. Yes, the US is the strongest player around at the moment. It can hurt its trading partners, but a trade war cuts both ways. It will hurt America too. Experts fear that it could even lead to a recession. And there are enough examples in history to show that this fear is not unfounded. Trade wars have unsavory consequences. The Smoot-Hawley tariffs of 1930 exacerbated the Great Depression. That's when the US slapped tariffs on imports and other countries retaliated and global trade collapsed. This was in 1930. Today's world is far more interconnected. Supply chains span multiple countries. So a global recession may not be off the table. The world is playing a dangerous waiting game. Canada, Mexico, and China have made their moves, but how far will they go? Will Trump double down? And how long will this last? Trade wars, like all wars, are easy to start but very tough to end. Trump, of all people, should know that.
Merci beaucoup. Hi, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Namaste, Mr. President.
Bharat Kelogan, Komeri Namaste.
How many people generally follow you in interviews?
Typically, in a month, we have viewers up to 150 million. That's more than twice the population of France. And in the last 2 years, we had 3 billion viewers. So I say, Laurent, this is your chance to be famous. You're on Firstpost. One word to describe your equation with Prime Minister Modi.
Amitié.
As India and France work together, are you creating a new era of non-alignment in the technology space?
India is a training superpower. 1 million engineers a year, more than all of Europe and the US combined. So we have that partnership. We have a partnership on the environment and the economy. We also have civilian nuclear programs, and that is something we've developed far beyond the France-India relationship. So we want to work together on AI.
And then comes China with its DeepSeek, creating models at a fraction of the cost. Did that innovation take you by surprise? Did that breakthrough make you sit up and think, what did the Chinese do and how?
But what did DeepSeek do? They took everything that was already available from the last AI model, and then they recalibrated it.
So are you going to ban Chinese AI in France?
So we don't have this American approach of banning tech because of where it comes from.